Parliament set to announce new Prime Minister. You only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough.
And on the business news tonight, Nigeria to borrow $200 million from Japan for power expansion in Lagos and Ogun. These and many more to come on the business segment of the news. I am Siniat Abaru.
And coming up on sport news, NFF confirms date for Ghana vs Nigerian World Cup qualifier. These and more sports stories much later on the news. My name is Moses Ojewumi. Stay with us.
Now detailed. In the face of the growing immigration of doctors from the country to seek greener pastures abroad, resident doctors in Ogun State have commended government for stabilizing the health sector, particularly as it relates to management of medical doctors' welfare and their placements. The doctors under the aegis of Association of Resident Doctors, Olabisi Onabanjo University Teaching Hospital, OUTH chapter, Shagamu, led by its president, Dr. Bukola Olushiyan, said the Prince Dapo Abiodun-led administration has done well in motivating the doctors in the face of the increasing immigration of doctors abroad to seek greener pastures, saying resident doctors are now paid as par with colleagues in federal tertiary hospitals, just as the government has been responsive and spontaneous in ensuring placement of new doctors for improved service delivery.
84 resident doctors, new resident doctors were employed, and that's a huge one for which we are very grateful. He has also been very helpful with making sure that our association or the resident doctors in OUT are now paid at par with resident doctors across the nation, especially those of them who work in federal tertiary health institutions.
He also commended the government for its significant role at ensuring the success of the annual general meeting of the association recently held, adding that the visit was an opportunity for the new executive to meet with the SSJ and to convey their appreciation to the government through him. Responding, the secretary to the state government, Mr. Tokumbo Talabi, said no society or organization can thrive in an atmosphere of rancor, saying our administration is committed to dialoguing on issues for peaceful resolutions.
It's also an avenue for funding of institutions, because there will be subscription, there will be competition, there will be something left to boost the facilities in the hospitals. I think this is a very good step, a good start. Let's get to understand each other, establish that level of trust, because crisis will come. It is the level of relationship that you have that will determine whether the crisis is full-blown or it's managed.
The SSG also advised the new executive of the association to place premium on dialogue in pressing home their demands with government, as well as deploy it in managing internal issues or challenges, pledging government's continued commitment to the welfareism of the doctors as well as other workers in the state. Ogun State Head of Service, Dr. Nafio Aiguru, said that the government will revisit the issue of reward for all categories of workers while diligent in their duties to boost their morale. Dr. Aiguru, who stated this during a courtesy visit by the management of the Gateway News Update to introduce year 2021 awardees to him, called on the workers to continue giving their best for the development and progress of the state. He charged the award winners not to relent, but to do more to improve so that other civil servants will emulate them to be hardworking.
I'm sure with this award, the other civil servants will try and emulate you. You're like charging them to do more work so that they too will be evaluated and qualified for such award by this newspaper or any other NGOs that have interacted with you and see that you are actually above board. I'm sure the government will also like to revisit the issue. Years ago, we used to have awards for all categories of civil servants. I think it's high time we resuscitate the reward system.
Earlier, the publisher of the newspaper, Evangelist Tunde Homolaolu, said that the objective of the organization was to showcase Ogun and our people in all human endeavors through various instruments of the newspaper, and the award was to serve as a reward to excellence to people in the state. Speaking on behalf of the awardees are retired Permanent Secretary, Town Planner Yetunde Dina, and the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment, Mr. Oluola Ekolola, appreciated the publisher for the honor done them, advising him to extend it to the junior staff and develop a valid, dependable and reliable criteria for selecting winners for their award. President Muhammadu Buhari says Nigeria is keen on furthering excellence across board and will continue to celebrate those who contributed their quota to the task of getting her on the top bracket of outstanding nation. This was at the conferment of the 2020 and 2021 Nigeria National Merit Award to deserving citizens of the country. The award recipients for 2020 are Professor Oluyinka Olurutimi Olutoye, a world-renowned fetal and pediatric surgeon represented by his father, Oba Olufemi Rotimi, the Alani of Idwani Kingdom, and late Professor Charles Ejike Chidume, a globally renowned professor of mathematics represented by his son, Dr. Okechukwu Chidume, and the awardees for the 2021 is Professor Godwin Samuel Hekoebere, a world-renowned professor of mathematical physics. The Nigerian National Order of Merit is the highest and most prestigious award bestowed by the country on its citizens for creative, intellectual, and academic contributions that have national and global significance.
I am proud to welcome the new laureates to this prestigious League of Citizens. You are not just a national treasure, you are now important milestones in the history of Nigeria's upward path.
Let me also use this opportunity to call on Nigerian universities, both public and private, to rise up to the challenge and continue to lead in innovative research targeted at providing solutions to the many problems affecting the country, especially post-COVID-19 era.
President Muhammadu Buhari, who congratulated the award recipients, assured them that the nation will continue to celebrate and hold up the achievements as shining example worthy of emulation by upcoming young and women in the country.
And aspirations for the younger generation of Nigerians, reminding them that our survival and collective future as a nation ultimately rests on our being active participants in global developmental efforts, especially in science and technology.
The President appreciated the governing board of the Nigerian National Order of Merit Award for making transparency and love for the nation as their hallmarks for the stewardship, saying the good work must be sustained.
Of the enduring national legacies that are held in high regard, I wish to assure you that this administration is fully committed to giving the recognition that it deserves by immortalizing its recipients who have taken this country to greater heights, both in Nigeria and in diaspora.
On behalf of the recipients of the awards, Professor Godwin Ekogwere thanked the federal government for finding them worthy of recognition after what he described as diligent, thorough objectives and ingenious selection process.
World who regard us as their mentors while potentially fostering increased interest in science and medicine in Nigeria, and also the groundbreaking applications of these subjects to national development.
Established 43 years ago, the Nigerian National Order of Merit Awards recipients have now increased to 79. Each one of them are judged to be epitomize of the finest of Nigeria's capacity for innovation and creativity. The Speaker of the Ogun State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Olakule Oluomo, lauded the State Governor, Prince Dapo Abiodun, for the rehabilitation of Ibiade General Hospital and the recent flag-off of the Togbori, Agodo and Tiari Road in Waterside local government area of the state, which has been abandoned for over 23 years. Oluomo gave the commendation while responding to the submission of his deputy, Akim Balogun, who spoke under the personal explanation intimating his colleagues, lawmakers, on the infrastructural intervention by the Prince Dapo Abiodun-led administration in his constituency. Correspondent Kola Oleosho covered the plenary. Details of his report are presented in this package.
Under personal explanation at the plenary, the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Akim Balogun, appreciated the State Governor, Prince Abiodun, for the rehabilitation of Ibiade General Hospital and the recent flag-off of Togburi, Agodo, Lukogbe, and Tigara Road in Ogun Waterside local government area, which has been calling for government attention for over 23 years. Honorable Balogun stressed that the renovation of the health facility had improved residents' easy access to qualitative health facility, while the road rehabilitation would help ease human and vehicular movements in the area. In his response, Speaker Olakunle Oluomo sought for more of such developmental projects, including road construction and rehabilitation, as well as upgrade of health facilities in all the 26 state constituencies.
Can you imagine a road that has been abandoned for the past 23 years, and the governor is now going to fix that road? It requires or demands appreciation. So we join you in thanking the governor, and as he used to do, we expect him to do more to Waterside state constituency and other parts of our own constituency too.
In another development, the State Assembly has called for an increased advocacy and sponsorship from elected officials and public office holders to assist more residents of the state enroll for the just launched State Health Insurance Scheme. Member representing Yewa North 1 State Constituency and Chairman House Committee on Health, Honorable Adegoke Adeyanju, in his personal explanation, commended the health insurance policy of Governor Dapo Abiodun, informing the House of his intention to sponsor 166 beneficiaries from his constituency. Speaker Oluomo, while responding, called on his colleague lawmakers and other public-spirited individuals to support the less privileged to get enrolled on the health insurance scheme. Honorable Adeyanju, who later handed over a check of 1,992,000 naira to cater for 166 beneficiaries to the Commissioner for Health, Dr. Tomi Koka, enjoyed other well-meaning Nigerians to emulate the gesture.
As the Chairman heads Committee House of Assembly, I want to bring my own quota to support my people. My head is 12,000 naira. I'm here to pay for the 166 beneficiary from our state.
Following the launch of the insurance scheme on Thursday last week, this is the first check that we will be receiving, and we are glad that you're buying into this vision to see that our House Committee Chairman on Health is leading by example.
Yes. The lawmaker was accompanied by a leader of APC in Yewa North 1 State Constituency.
Investing in girls and women's right to political participation is a necessary step to achieving global gender equality and democratic governance. This was the submission of respondents on the quest to increase participation of women in active politics in Nigeria. Elizabeth Esson completes this story.
Studies have shown that increasing women's participation in politics leads to greater investment in education, while research also suggests that gender balance in the political sphere promotes gender balance in the workplace, which could double GDP growth by year 2025. Globally, women are bracing up to take up the challenge of competing with their male counterparts in politics through different fora, which has been generating concern among all if they will really fit in the race.
The role of women in politics is development. The role of women in politics is robust debate about policies, about issues, advocate for better rights for the children, advocate for better rights, advocate for hospitals, advocate for better education, better infrastructures, better society, and all of
that. There is a bill for more women at the National Assembly. So if we have that bill, we would be able to have more women, because people ask the question, where are the women? But the women are everywhere. You know, we just need to be able to have a political system that is definite. Then women will join politics more.
To respondents, participation of women in politics has exceeded the usual singing and dancing at political rallies in support of male politicians, but for women also to start vying for political posts.
I've had the opportunity, you know, to be at that position. You see people like Okonjo-Iweala, you know, you see Obi Ezekwesili, you see how they can perform. So the opportunity is always there. If the opportunity is there, women can really, you know, make a difference. In this state, we have had a female speaker, you know, before. So meaning that, and that's why to come into, we need to encourage as many. I say and I believe that what can change Nigerian politics is the face of women.
We have women that are intellectuals, and because they have this physique, they have this intellect of managing their home properly, we believe they can reciprocate it in governance.
First of all, make up their mind and offer themselves for political posts. You will find out that many women are not putting themselves forward. And the way it is, nobody will go to the house to go and call them or, you know, do a lot of things. They need to first of all make themselves available.
They called for the support of women's leadership in the workplace through greater inclusion in executive positions and on corporate boards.
The requirement is not actually just physical strength. If it is mental ability, emotional intelligence, there's no criteria for saying men are better than women or men have it than women. It's just that the roles we play, the way the society and nature is structured, we play different roles mostly. So with our women can do better and can do well in politics. They can get involved, and it will only make it all a better society.
Most of the time women get discouraged. Oh, they will kill you. Oh, they will make charms against you. Oh, they will do a lot of things against you. Women need to first of all get the courage, put themselves forward, and get the buy-in of their family. So once women do that, I guess many political parties these days are accepting women, and women can run, but we still need to do further, like reducing the cost of buying the form for women, reducing some other roadblocks or some other obstacles that could discourage women. So we all need to come it easy and possible, making something easy for women and youth to aspire to do.
In most countries where you have had more women, the constitution has played a role. Laws have played a role in getting us to that level. In Kenya, in Rwanda, in Uganda. In Rwanda as of today, there are 64% of the parliament that are women. So meaning that it's a game changer thing. So the laws can do that for us in Nigeria.
They are of the view that girls and women have a right to engage in civil society, vote in elections, be elected to government offices, serve on boards, and make their voices heard in any process that will ultimately affect them, their families, and communities. Elizabeth Esson, Ogtv News.
Still ahead, Inspector General of Police alerts officers to prepare for fresh security challenges ahead of the 2023 general elections. We'll bring you details of these and more after the break. Glad to know that you are still there, and if you're just joining us, you're watching the Major News broadcast for the day on Ogtv. Private-public partnership should be encouraged in agriculture to ensure food security and boost the nation's revenue. This was the submission of respondents who spoke with Ogtv News on the incessant inflation rate affecting goods and services in the country. Margaret Okunola has the details.
Nigeria's annual inflation rate rose to 15.63% in December 2021, after 8 straight months of decline, amidst a slight acceleration in prices of major components food. According to predictions from the World Bank, Nigeria is projected to have one of the highest inflation rates globally and the 7th highest among sub-Saharan African countries in 2022. Respondents who spoke with Ogtv News from their point of view expressed their displeasure on the latest development.
Like now, you sell market for the normal price you are selling market, and when you get back to market, it will be that price that you are selling it, that you still buy from market. And this thing is not really helping the situation. Even common Gary costs, not be small thing.
The prices of goods are so high. I don't know. When you buy in the morning, if you come back in the afternoon, you won't get it at that same price again. I don't know what's wrong.
This has continued and continue unabated, which is not good for any country that is aspiring for a good future. Because of the depression in the economy, people are not living the kind of life that they desire. And of course, when that occurs, people will always look for every means available.
Generally, if you want to look at the psychological problem we have around the country today, all over the world, you can see a link. There is nexus between lack of economic power and insecurity, as well as misbehavior that you find in the society today.
Some were of the opinion that fuel subsidy removal is a major point to contend with to reduce the level of inflation in the country.
And if dollar is high, the petroleum too is high, the price of the fuel is high, everything will be high surely. We too will transport, they will pay the transport. The amount to pay for transport before is not the same amount to pay now. The amount to buy the goods too, they will transport the goods too before getting to the market. All these things affect. And when we get here too, we got to influence the price too, so it can benefit us. And people buying, there's no catch with them too. It affects everything.
The first way out is to take proper care of workers in the country. Because if working class are taking proper care, this will reflect in the standard of living of those that are not working. The current minimum wage in the country is not realistic if you compare the cost of fuel, which is attached to the cost of commodity in Nigeria.
They called on all stakeholders to join hands with the government to eradicate economic deprivation, which cumulates to inflation of goods and services generally. Margaret Okunola, Ogtv News.
The House of Representatives has passed a bill seeking to raise the academic qualification for the seat of President of Nigeria, Governor of a state, and other elective public officers to university degree or its equivalent. The bill, sponsored by the lawmaker representing Ikene, Shagamu, Remo North federal constituencies in Ogun State, Adeomi Ononuga, is seeking to amend the 1999 Constitution and raise the qualification from school certificate to degree or its equivalent. The bill seeks to specifically alter sections 65, 106, 131, and 177 of the Constitution. Leading the debate on the bill, Ononuga stated her belief that the proposal, if it becomes law, will, among other things, place more value on education in our nation and its importance when considering politics. The sponsor said this is not a bill targeted at stifling the interest of Nigerians in politics. Rather, it's a bill that will help Nigerians to sufficiently prepare for the task of political leadership. The Senate has approved the establishment of 6 new campuses of the Nigerian law schools across the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. The newly approved law schools, in addition to the 7 existing ones, bring the total number of law schools in Nigeria to 13, excluding that of the Federal Capital Territory. The approval of the new law schools followed the consideration of a report by the Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters on the Legal Education Act Amendment Bill 2021. The bill was sponsored by Senator Smart Adeyemi of Kogi West. Accordingly, the Senate approved the Jos Law School Campus, Plateau State, and Kaba Law School Campus, Kogi State, for the North Central Geopolitical Zone. The Chamber also gave the nod for the Yola Law School Campus, Adamawa State, and Maiduguri Law School Campus, Borno State, to serve the Northeast Zone. In the Northwest, the Senate approved the Kano Law School Campus, Kano State, and Argungu Law School Campus, Kebbi State. In the Southeast, the Chamber also gave approval for the Enugu Law School Campus and Ukija Law School Campus, Anambra State. The Senate equally approved the Yenagoa Law School Campus, Bayelsa State, Port Harcourt Law School Campus, River State, and Orogu Law School Campus, Delta State, for the South-South Zone. In the Southwest, the Chamber approved the Lagos Law School Campus, Lagos State, and Ilawe Law School Campus, Ekiti State. The Buhari Law School Campus, Abuja, remains exclusively for the Federal Capital Territory. Chairman of the Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters, Senator Opeyemi Bamidele, said the creation of the 6 law schools was legislative intervention to address an exponential increase in the number of law graduates from various universities and foreign ones, coupled with the backlog that existed over the years. And the bill seeking to establish the Federal Polytechnic Orogu Delta State, already passed by the National Assembly, has been amended by the Senate on Tuesday. According to the Special Assistant to the Senate President on Press, Israel Tabiero, the amendment was made sequel to the motion for recommittal to the Committee of the Whole. The motion for the recommittal was sponsored by the Senate leader Yahya Abdullahi. In his presentation, Senator Yahya Abdullahi relied on Order 1B and Order 52 of the Senate Standing Order to seek an amendment to the bill. He observed that some fundamental issues which require fresh legislative action by both chambers of the National Assembly emerged to correct the observed errors in the bill. He noted that President Muhammadu Buhari has since approved the establishment of the Federal Polytechnic Orogun Delta State, stating that the institution is in the process of commencing academic activities. The bill was passed by the Chamber after amendments were made to it by the Committee of the Whole House. The Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board, JAMB, has shifted the commencement of its Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination, UTME, and the Direct Entry, DE registration ahead by 1 week. The board, in a statement by its head of media and protocol, Dr. Phoebian Benjamin, said the registration will now start on February 19 instead of February 12 it had earlier fixed. The commencement of the 2022 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination Direct Entry Registration exercise, earlier scheduled for Saturday 12 February 2022, has now been postponed to Saturday 19 February 2022, and it will end on Saturday 26 March 2022. According to JAMB, the 1 week postponement is to allow for more fine-tuning of the upgraded and more user-friendly procedures for candidates' registration. The process, which will be concluded within the 1 week extension period, is also aimed at accommodating feedbacks from candidates and other stakeholders alike. The Nigeria Labour Congress (NLC) says it will strongly advocate against removing Labour from the exclusive legislative list. NLC President Ayuba Waba, who stated this in a statement in Abuja, noted that Labour issues were presently domiciled in the second Scheduled Legislative Powers, Part 1, Exclusive List, Item 34. According to him, Labour, including trade unions, industrial relations, conditions, safety and welfare of labour, industrial disputes, prescribing a national minimum wage for the Federation or any other part thereof, and industrial arbitration. Waba, while explaining how it came to be on the exclusive list, noted that the nation states legislations on labour derives substantially from the International Labour Organization ILO conventions, protocols and recommendations, and other instruments domesticated through the Acts of Parliament. He added that this explained the near uniformity of labour laws across the nation of the world and relative global industrial order harmony and an attraction for foreign investment. He said this was a realization of the reality that 17 days after independence in 1960, under a democratic government, Nigeria fell in line with rectifying and domesticated ILO Convention 87 and 98, gratifying the right to organize and collectively bargain. And traffic gridlocks have surfaced in many parts of Lagos metropolis as motorists and consumers on Tuesday, for the second day running, stormed fuel stations in panic buying of premium motor spirits (PMS), otherwise called petrol. Motorists were seen in the early hours queuing at some fuel stations where PMS was dispensed via only one nozzle point, with 4 others inactive. The situation has resulted in total confusion and long queues of vehicles at various filling stations. The scarcity situation was first noticed on Monday, when long queues of vehicles dotted around fuel stations as motorists struggled to buy PMS, otherwise known as petrol, which was believed to have been escalated by increased demand on the product due to power blackout. Murtala Mohammed was a Nigerian general who led the Northern Counter-Coup forces in overthrowing the Republic of Nigeria and featured prominently during the Nigerian Civil War and thereafter ruled over Nigeria. He is described to be remembered, or rather he deserved to be remembered for the economic prosperity which greatly improved the quality of life in Nigeria during the reign as the 4th head of state. Ogtv news crew put this special report together to celebrate the posthumous birthday of late General Murtala Mohammed.
Murtala Ramat Mohammed was born on the 8th of November 1938 in Kano into a ruling religious class family. He served in the Nigerian Army as cadet in the Royal Military Academy, Sandhurst. He later served in Congo, eventually rose through the ranks to become Brigadier General in 1971 at the age of 33, becoming one of the youngest generals in Nigerian Army. On 29th July 1975, General Yakubu Gowon was overthrown while attending the 12th summit of the Organization of African Unity in Kampala, Uganda. Murtala Mohammed took power as the new military head of state, where the then brigadiers, later lieutenant generals, Obasanjo and Danjuma, were appointed as Chief of Staff, Supreme Headquarter, and Chief of Army Staff in that order. In the coup d'etat that brought him to power, he introduced the phrase fellow Nigerians and with immediate effect to the national lexicon. In a short time, Murtala Mohammed's policies won him broad popular support, and his decisiveness elevated him to the status of a folk hero.
Nigeria has been left to drift. This situation, if not arrested, would inevitably have resulted in chaos and even bloodshed.
In the endeavor to build a strong, united, and virile nation, Nigerians have shed much blood. The thought of further bloodshed, for whatever reasons, must, I'm sure, be revolting to our people.
As head of state, Murtala Mohammed inherited an immense amount of oil and petroleum resources and enormous but untapped natural gas reserves. Mohammed put in place plans to build a new federal capital territory due to Lagos being overcrowded. He was assassinated along with his aide-de-camp, Lieutenant Akintunde Akinseyinwa, in his black Mercedes-Benz salon car on 13th February 1976 at age 37. He was succeeded by the Chief of Staff, Supreme Headquarter, Olusegun Obasanjo. Ayodeji Olunmi, Ogtv News.
The Inspector General of Police, Usman Baba, has again alerted police officers in the country to prepare for fresh security challenges ahead of the 2023 general elections. The police boss stated this at the opening ceremony of the conference and retreat for senior police officers in Akwa Ibom. Baba re-emphasized that the countdown to the general elections will present new sets of security challenges which will undoubtedly further task their professionalism. He said, as strategic managers of whole shoulders, the task of ensuring a peaceful electoral process rests. The police must be adequately prepared, adding that the conference and retreat will serve as a forum to also engage issues relating to their roles in the electioneering process. Usman Baba reassured the entire citizens of firm determination and clear vision to evolve a new police force for the nation, adding that the police will continue to explore all available strategies in guaranteeing their security and safety. Up next is business news with Simiat Abaru.
You're welcome to the business news. The federal government has disclosed its plans to borrow $200 million from Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, to support the power expansion program in Lagos and Ogun State. The fund, according to the Minister of Power, Abubakar Aliyu, is to provide about 203-kilometer high-voltage transmission lines and 6 high-voltage substations, which cover 5 local governments in Ogun State and 1 local government in Lagos State, with approximately 200 communities affected. Aliyu, who disclosed this when he received a delegation from JICA in Abuja, added that part of the counterpart funding will be used to compensate affected persons around the corridor. The minister expressed the delight of the federal government on the cooperation and assured JICA of President Muhammadu Buhari's resolve to ensure that best practices are applied, particularly to infrastructural development in the electricity supply industry in Nigeria. The rally in oil prices is not translating to more dollars in Nigeria's reserves for only the 5th time in at least 2 decades, as a growing petrol subsidy bill and low oil production short Africa's largest oil producer from the gains of higher oil prices. Nigeria's gross official reserves slipped below the $40 billion mark to $39.982 billion on February 3, the lowest in 3 months, according to data obtained from the central bank's website. The reserves had also declined in the months of January 2022, falling by $481 million to $40.04 billion from $40.50 billion as of the end of December 2021. There has been no significant boost for the reserves since last September, when Nigeria issued a $5 billion Eurobond and received a $3.3 billion special drawing right allocation from the International Monetary Fund. It is unusual for Nigeria's external reserves to be declining at a time the price of oil has rallied to the highest level since 2014, which should mean more dollar income for oil export in Nigeria. Similarly, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, says the Nigerian economy is recovering from a historic downturn, benefiting from government policy support, rising oil prices, and international financial assistance. IMF disclosed this in a statement issued from its headquarters in Washington, D.C. The organization said Nigeria exited the recession in fourth quarter of 2020 and output rose by 4.1% year-on-year in the third quarter, with broad-based growth except for the oil sector, which is facing security and technical challenges. Despite the recovery in oil prices, the general government fiscal deficit is projected to widen in 2021 to 5.9% of gross domestic product, reflecting implicit fuel subsidies and higher security spending, according to IMF. The federal government said it has concluded plans for an omnibus bill that will harmonize over 25 laws on business practices as part of plans to strengthen ease of doing business in Nigeria and attract more foreign investment. Jumoke Oduwole, Special Advisor to the President on Ease of Doing Business, speaking at the focus group meeting on ease of doing business and presentation of the 7th National Action Plan in Abuja, noted that the legislation is necessary to address challenges and bottleneck militating against businesses in Nigeria. The government is concerned over the low levels of compliance with its orders on ease of doing business, especially the Executive Order 1 of 2017 on promotion of transparency and efficiency. Nigeria is currently ranked 130 out of 170 countries on the Global Ease of Doing Business Index, which ranks countries against each other based on how the regulatory environment is conducive to business operation and stronger protections of property rights. And that's the end of business news tonight. Many thanks for watching. Back to the Sumu for the segment of the news.